opportunities. What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I love the way that he didn't try to force himself and impose himself on the game. He found his role. I expect him to be have a much bigger impact on tonight's game.
By tipping Sydney?
Yeah, I think
yes.
I think it'll be tough for Brisbane.
So Will Magnay getting the opportunity to be out there from the start, the first time that he started in his brief NBL career. And in possession immediately, the Sydney Kings. Casper Ware with an early look. It rattles in and out. So what do you want to see from Brisbane early, boys?
I would love to see them run Sydney off the three-point line. If they're going to start big and put Hodgson and Magnay in, send the guards in, make them contest at the rim, win the interior battle and force Andrew Bogut to play offense.
And I'd like to see them go through Glidden. That time he came off a staggered and Hodgson was going the other way than where Glidden was coming off from the baseline. They need to make him a priority, get him going early. And I'm really intrigued to see how the Twin Towers go in the middle.
So am I, and one of the things I believe, if you're playing against a team who's ordinarily going to beat you, give them a different look. At least be different. So credit to Brisbane, they've done that. Sydney wouldn't have expected this lineup coming into the game, and at least give them something to think about.
And I think the thing with Magnay, we all agree, that's where he's got to get to as a four-man. He's been playing five traditionally, so good to see him get some minutes. How will he go against an undersized Tate, though, that is quicker and has a little bit more...
Yeah, he needs to move his feet and show his hands and all those things that a good coach will tell you. But I think the biggest thing for him is offensively, he's got to prove he's willing to shoot the three and stretch the floor a little bit, because if you've got two bigs in there who don't shoot it, it becomes really, really hard for your guards.
Jayshawn Tate misses the second. Double figures in every game this season. Had such a fantastic first season in the NBL. The Bullets looking to get on the board as we come up to a minute played in the opening period. Patterson almost had it stolen away, got to the free throw line and gets it to go down.
And he has to be in that frame of mind. He gets the ball, he has to make plays. We know he's unselfish. He can put points on the board, but he can bring his teammates into it as well. And I agree with Chris. I like him back in that three spot where he's more comfortable and he's played the majority of his basketball.
So the Bullets get themselves into the action. Zada at the top of the key, goes down low to Bogut, and this will test Magnay straight away. The experience of Bogut kicks it out. Jayshawn Tate wide open for three.
And if you're going to go big, you've got to defend them. You don't want to go and rotate onto the block. You want to be able to guard them one-on-one. But Andrew Bogut, if they're going to do that and throw it in, we've always wanted him to score a bit more. He's such a willing passer. Great pass out to that wide open three, but
back here.
Needs to be a...
Keys to the game, Brisbane Bullets.
Yeah, look, they need to slow it down. They need to make Sydney defend. Less possessions in the game, the better for the Brisbane Bullets. They need to generate second chance points. The Sydney Kings aren't a renowned offensive rebounding team. They do a great job on the defensive board, so the Brisbane Bullets need to go and attack the glass. That's Matty Hodgson, that's Will Magnay. Go and get some extra points.
That will be massive for Cameron Glidden's confidence. And the Sydney Kings, Shane, they're doing a lot right this season.
Well, they attack offensively. That's what they do. They've got so many avenues to the basket, and they need to disrupt Brisbane at the defensive end by pressing, playing a little bit of zone, disrupting them so Brisbane don't get any flow to this game.
Sobey pushes the ball. He's got himself to the free throw line. Magnay, good hustle, gives a second opportunity. Patterson.
And that's the exact type of possession the Brisbane Bullets need. Great job on the offensive boards. Early kick out to a wide open three-point shooter. Great work, Brisbane.
Brisbane are away early. Love to get the crowd involved at the Armory, and Sobey comes up with a steal. They're doing a bit right early on. Patterson once more.
Why not?
Back-to-back trebles.
That is a great hit from Patterson to get this crowd alive and the rest of his teammates believing. But it started the possession before, as Chris said, with the offensive rebound of Will Magnay.
And I'll tell you what, if you're the most talented scorer on a basketball team, go and shoot the ball in a game, you've got nothing to lose.
As Bogut breaks a run of 9 straight points. That's leadership. Get the ball to the big man and get him to change the trend. Here's Patterson, back-to-back threes.
And we know he's capable of this, but at stages he just lets the game come to him. I think he has to play with this mindset, go and make things happen, set the tone for the Brisbane Bullets so he gives his teammates some confidence and some belief that they can actually knock off the big dogs in the Sydney Kings.
I'll tell you what, while we enjoyed that the bigs were going to start for Brisbane, Matty Hodgson's picked up his second foul already, so 2 minutes and 46 seconds into the game, we're back to normal.
EJ Singler coming in and has been bowled over in the process. Foul will be called on Casper Ware. We didn't get much of a chance to have a look at the Twin Towers.
They've got a good plus-minus, they're up 5.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that Andre Lamanis has finally bit the bullet with his Americans? Because
Well,
he's going to the grave with them.
Do you think he'll be looking to divorce himself from one of them?
No, I
It
don't
could
think
be
he
the
will at
first
all.
step. You don't think he'll cut one?
Not at all. We've been
Okay.
saying that since round 2.
But if you've got 3 imports in a team and 2 of them are coming off the bench, it's not traditionally the way an NBL roster, a successful one, works.
We agree. We picked that to pieces from the very start, and he's been stubborn with it.
Now here's one for you, Hammer. I love this question for a WhatsApp one. Is this the best Sydney Kings team ever? You were a part of some great ones, and a couple of great ones followed your time. How's this team look to you?
They look great. I mean, it's a much bigger budget and a lot deeper team, probably.
Sobey with the layup off the window.
Certainly more international experience.
So you're saying you weren't getting paid enough when you played at the Kings? Is that how it works?
Exactly what I was saying.
You can ponder that, Hammer, as Lazada jacks it up from deep. Singler made it work eventually. Lots of energy about the way Brisbane are playing. Bogut comes up with that rebound. Ends up okay. Sydney coming off a 23-point win last week over Melbourne. That was a statement victory. That man was a big part of it, Brad Newley. Kings will get the ball back.
That's a really good take from Brad Newley. I love it when he comes off some dribble handoffs because he gets ahead of steam, and if you're going to lock and trail that, very difficult to be able to stop him getting into the cup.
And Sydney moved the ball fantastically well, and as you say, do depend a lot on the dribble handoff. And one thing, if you watch Nathan Sobey defensively, and Casper Ware's the obvious guy who comes off a lot, he's top blocking him, so he's not letting him come off and receive that dribble handoff, and really not letting him be the scorer he wants to be. As he gets base on, and that's the one you're going to give up if you're top blocking Casper Ware.
His first points in the game. Averaging 21 a game this season. Such a fabulous recruit for the Harbour City team. Patterson, after the feed from Magnay, it was a good look.
I still like the shots.
Yeah.
They're being aggressive. We said they might need to slow it down. I don't mind the look of an offensively aggressive Brisbane Bullets team.
Ware's got himself to the free throw line.
And I think when we say they have to control the tempo, that doesn't mean they shouldn't be running. I think they need to run, but they just need to make good decisions. You don't need to run at all costs. Then they're going to have to work out when they slow it down and when they get to the point.
Well, if your offense generates a wide open shot and you don't take it, then you've done your team a disservice. I think any time a wide open shot presents itself for the Bullets against the Sydney Kings, you have to take it. And like we said before, go and crash the boards and see if you can't get another one. And they're doing a great job on the boards right now. 6 rebounds to the Brisbane Bullets, only 1 to Sydney for the entire game. So they're doing a good job in that space.
They've played twice this season, these two teams, round 4 and round 6. Ware has scored 17 in both of them. He's into his work early on as he goes 2 from 2. Sydney have cut it back to 3 points the difference. Sobey looking for his first treble. Xavier Cooks with the rebound.
Now, for those who haven't seen much of Xavier Cooks, Hammer, tell us a little bit about him. What is he? Is he a natural wing? Is he a four-man? How do you see him being utilised best in this Sydney Kings team?
Well, I think for him, he's a 3-man, as we see.
Deshaun Taylor.
Wow.
Shot from Taylor. That's not normally his
No.
go, but he makes that fit. But Cooks, he's a 3-man. I think he's got NBA talent. He was exceptional when he played internationally. He did make the boomers. See Sobey almost get a 3-point play, but Cooks adds versatility. He'll play some 4 when he's playing for the Sydney Kings, and he has that sort of flexibility that he can also do that internationally as well. That's what makes this Kings team so tough when you add somebody like Cooks.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that he came in midway through the season and a few eyebrows were raised at their ability to be able to bring him in with the roster they had, but every other NBL team had the same opportunity to sign him and either passed up on him or didn't really explore the option. So good on the Sydney Kings for bringing in another talented Aussie.
And for people that haven't seen a lot of him, I mean, Andre Lamanis and the Boomers picked him over Mitch Creek. We know Mitch Creek's one of the favourites for the MVP. He's got that sort of skill level, so it just adds to this depth and quality of the Sydney Kings.
Sobey will sit down. Some good minutes in the first period, and Jason Kadee comes into the game. Averaging 11.5 points. Having a very nice season for the Bullets. Sean Bruce in as well for his first minutes. Become a real favourite with the Kings crowd. Lazada, feet set. Kick it came up with it. And another look for the Kings. Bruce this time. No good. Strong board by Magnay. Brisbane trying to arrest the run. And Magnay trails, lost the handle. It's off the foot of Kickett. The Bullets will get it back. They're
the little 1%ers that Brisbane have to dominate in this game if they're going to give themselves a chance. We saw it with the Hawks last night, going on the road and being able to cause a big upset. There's going to be energy and toughness and a desire to be able to get over the Sydney Kings lineup. And so far, they've started well in that department.
They sure have, but they did it again last time those two teams played. So as great as it is from the start of the game, well, in the first 6 minutes, I'm really interested to see if Brisbane can keep this energy up as Cam Glidden gets himself wide open. And that's the exact type of shot that Cam Glidden needs to continue to shoot and impose himself on every game that he plays in.
His second three-pointer of the afternoon. Last season averaged 30 minutes a game, Cam Glidden, averaged 14 points. This season, 18 minutes a game for 6 points. He's kicking. Does Daniel Kickett things?
It sure is, and shooting the ball at 43% from free. He's probably not the guy you want to run away from when he's got the ball at the three-point line.
Kadee at the other end, trying to kiss it off the window. Kickett came up with the rebound and made his presence felt also. Tate, it all opens up for Jay Sean Tate, and he hammers it down.
Wow. Oh, he might be undersized. He didn't look it on that occasion.
All he needed was a half step. He's strong and athletic. He got himself on the rim quickly.
And now he's involved once more. Such a player of energy, although a rush of blood meant that he lost the ball. Singler in transition. Now Patterson, he's nailed one from this spot already. Misses out that time, and foul called against the Bullets.
Grab his arm. 14.
Oh my. That was just quick ups too.
And the sea's just parted for him. Look at that.
What's the thing is that when you've got such a talented roster like the Sydney Kings do, it's hard to go and help off anybody on the floor at any time. So inadvertently, there are going to be some driving lanes at various times throughout the game, and Sean Tate took full advantage of that, got half a step in his defender and went up and finished that thing hard.
Coming off the back of the double-double too against Melbourne. His first in the NBL. Ware putting the ball on the floor, changes his decision. And Xavier Cook's the quick release three. And there's Jay Sean Tate again, getting involved. This time drawing a foul.
Well, he's drawn 2 fouls now from Mika Vicona, and just by being active, he's made Vicona be able to work to be able to try and block him off the boards and cause 2 fouls. That's why he plays such a good role for the Sydney Kings. He's just so different than the other pieces they have. He's the junkyard dog. He doesn't stop, does all the little things, doesn't need a lot of the ball to make things happen. Great piece.
Well, you look back at those 3 championship teams we spoke about, and there's an Aussie named Mark Worthington who you might argue is a little bit similar, did all the little pieces, was a bit of a junkyard dog. Not quite that level of athleticism, of course, but there's such a role in the NBL for that undersized big who just does a little bit of everything.
Could he dunk like that?
Absolutely not. Wortho would have finger rolled that one.
He would have got a net touch though.
Yeah, he might have hung onto the net.
The Bullets at one stage had scored 9 points in a row and have really opened it up. The Kings have clawed their way back in and scored the last 6. And they have a small lead Kick it once more. That is not a man to leave open. He will do that all afternoon.
And that just can't happen. You can't allow somebody like Daniel Kickett to be able to stroll down
base. I mean, it's got to be a rough journey, but fantastic story.
You've got to admire not only the young fella, but the family itself, Christmas time, and that certainly puts things in perspective, so we hope they have a great Christmas.
So out of the timeout, the Kona, soft touch. Nice play drawn up by the Bullets. They cut it back to 2. And importantly for them, out of the timeout, break a run of 9 straight points for the Kings. Sean Bruce short.
Now, Sean Bruce is probably a guy that Brisbane wouldn't mind shooting a bunch of threes, you know, when you look at what they've got out there, but just before the timeout, we saw the benefit of Daniel Kickett, didn't we? That he is absolutely there to stretch the floor for the rest of the athletes, because anytime he gets half open, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league, let alone as a big. He will give their players all kinds of room all game long.
Ware head down to the bucket, spinning and drawing an easy 2.
And that's great recognition from Casper Ware. 10 of the 15 field goal attempts were from the three-point line for the Kings.
You'd be enjoying that, wouldn't you, Hammer?
I would love that. I was licking my lips as I said it. But they're 4 from 10 from the three-point line. But you still want to be able to pick and choose a little bit. Try and get yourself a little cheapy like Casper Ware did as well.
Your sort of game, that.
Well, it's this sort of era. You know, Chris is
I evolved.
You know, Chris was one of the, first real big guys that were stepping out and picking and popping and shooting threes. And certainly a time that as a point guard and a pick and pop 4-5 man, you look at it and you think, wow, love to be playing in this day and age.
Now, speaking of great three-point shooters, and on the back of the last little story, I do want to give a little bit of a shout-out to Andrew Parkinson, who's got his own little health battle going on at the moment, and I know that he's sitting there watching the game tonight with Mark Worthington, Cam Wrigley, Luke Kendall, and a few other legends of the game, so good on you, Parky. We hope you're doing well and you enjoy the game tonight too, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. We're thinking of him as the Bullets. Sloppy transition, but now they start to settle. Magnay to the basket, denied by Andrew Bogut. Not in this gym, young fella.
A lot of years of experience there, and Bogut just, as a shot blocker, has such incredible timing, and Magnay would have thought he was open against 90% of players in the league, but not Andrew Bogut.
Magnay had grand plans, Bogut not having a bar of it.
And a little piece of advice for Will Magnay when he watches a replay of this, you've got to go up and dunk that big fella. You can't lay it up around Andrew Bogut.
Well, it's a great position that he was in that centre field position of not giving too much help to the ball handler, understanding that Magnay was going to the basket as well. It allowed enough space for him to be able to get back there to reject it.
Sydney coach Will Weaver. One name being discussed in amongst the support staff of Brett Brown and the national job.
Maybe. Hey.
Some announcements to come, we believe.
It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with the coaching staff, of course, with such a short preparation. I would imagine Brett Brown's going to want to coach with a group of coaches who he's familiar with and who are familiar with his system. So it's going to be a quick turnaround, and look, there's a massive, massive carrot dangling at the end of it. There's a medal at the Olympic Games, but they want to get it right pretty quickly, but it sounds like they're going to have all of the available talent that we can provide in Australian basketball to choose from.
There's no doubt they're going to have to have somebody local. Yep. They're going to have to, with the local knowledge, and it's a risk, obviously, bringing somebody in that's not going to be here until June.
Do you need someone local if there aren't many local players in the team, do you think, or do you need someone who knows all of the NBA talent we've got at the moment?
Well, I think the thing, more than anything else, you've got Asian qualifications.
Of course,
got all of
so who
things.
leads that, yes.
Yeah, so having somebody here is going to be critical. One of the advantages that Andre Lamanis had is there was a carryover from camp to camp. He was always here, always speaking to the players and all the rest of it, I guess.
Bogut with the tough finish. Nice pass from Lazada too.
Do you think Will Weaver's that guy?
Well, potentially. I mean, he'd have to. He's certainly got history in the States as well, and he's a local here. So
yeah, and you've seen what he's done with this Sydney Kings lineup. He's able to manage egos, and I say that in a really positive way, that there are a lot of confident young men on that Boomers team and a lot of egos who are need their place, but he might just be the guy to get them through.
At one point, the Brisbane Bullets led by 7 in the opening period, and the Sydney Kings have got to work very quickly and have got themselves a handy 8-point lead at quarter time here at the Armory. Kings weathered the early storm and they took control of the game. They lead 29-21 at the end of the first period as we get set to start the second quarter and finish the quarter on a 16-3 run, the Kings.
And it almost went unnoticed that they're just so good even when their highlights aren't fantastic and they don't stand out as being a great team. That's how Sydney Kings will grind you over the course of the game.
Matt Hodgson saw limited minutes because of foul trouble. Misses out there. Here's 2 fouls to his name. And Ruben Tarangi starting the second quarter as well. His 200th NBL game.
Chris brought up the fact that the Bullets were winning the battle of the boards early. Now the Sydney Kings 12-9 in front. They got 10 free throws in the first quarter by attacking the Brisbane Bullets defence. Third foul.
And I think we've just found a third foul on Matty Hodgson. So, and this is what Andrew Bogut does.
Yep.
We mentioned early on that 10 of the first 15 shots in the game were three-point shots, a lot of them from the Brisbane Bullets. It's very, very difficult to score in the paint against the Sydney Kings. Matty Hodgson just figured that out last possession, got into a wrestle with him down that end, and he'll sit on 3 fouls, and having only played 3-odd minutes of basketball.
You ready, guys? You got 40 on the shot. Ready?
He fouled out when they played in round 6. That was in 18 minutes. It's a lot less today.
Well, sometimes you get caught in a personal battle when you're playing against the best big in the NBL. Oftentimes you want to prove you can compete with him. It's, you know, sticking with the team rules and the team scout and not really getting involved in that one-on-one battle as a big.
3.5 minutes to be precise.
That is a great take from Casper Ware. He just bullied his way in, used his body to be able to create space against Patterson. It's like a little nugget.
Casper do it from everywhere. A bit more of that this afternoon. Getting himself inside the paint. Brings up his 10th point of the game. 6 of 6 from the free throw line today. Came into today 4th in the competition in points scored in NBL20. He's always got an answer.
And you can tell he's been around the league for a little bit now. You know, imports come into the league and it takes him a little bit of time to adjust to the style of game, the way the games are called. Here's Will Magnay spotting up for a 3 and finally making one. And this is fantastic news for this young fella because that's exactly what he needs to do to evolve into a foreman.
And there's a little milestone, his first 3-point bucket in the NBL.
Well, he made plenty in the QBL last year and he's been encouraged to shoot it. And I know Sammy McKinnon's been riding him as an assistant coach up in Brisbane to, you know, not be afraid of missing some, which I think any good shooter, Hammer, you're never afraid of missing a few.
I hope Sammy's not his shooting coach, though, is he?
He's been encouraging him to shoot it, yes.
Good. That's good. Maybe get CJ onto that.
Sydney 33, Brisbane 24, second period. Glidden starting tonight, and a couple of looks. That's a good pass, and Magnay all the way to the cup and the big dunk.
A nice job by Brisbane to post up a much bigger Ruben Tarangi on Casper, where Andrew Bogut has to go and help. And we mentioned before, if you're going to finish on the rim against the Sydney Kings, get up and dunk it. And that's exactly what Will Magnay did.
So the 3-ball and then the dunk. He's ticking a few boxes today, the youngster. It's Casper ticks another box of his own.
Well, that's just too easy.
Far too
they
easy.
were funneling him straight into the middle. Casper's too good for that. He's either going to get a little cheapy or get himself to the line. Offensive foul with a hook from Patterson. Right hand to the face of Tate.
Replay should tell a story here. It was right in front of the Brisbane bench. Andre Lamanis not happy with the call.
Oh, he can be not happy, but it was
Doesn't
there,
matter,
wasn't it?
exactly.
It was obvious.
Lamar Patterson also not happy. Let's take a look.
Ooh. And then the thing that makes that even more important is it's Lamar Patterson's third foul, so he'll have to go and join Matty Hodgson on the bench for the rest of this quarter. And I know he's going to stay in the game, but important period of time. They don't want to fall behind. If he picks up one more, big trouble for the Brisbane Bullets.
Here's Xavier Cooks for 3.
Well, add that to what you've already got. The future looks incredibly rosy for the Sydney Kings. I'll tell you what, they are just a depth of talent.
Position. if they could jag a win today and bump themselves up the table a bit, it's not a bad run home.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. If they don't get it done tonight, they fall 4 games below 500 and a couple of games behind Adelaide and Cairns. It just becomes increasingly difficult. So a massive end of this quarter and the rest of this game.
And what you're saying is right, but they've only had one quality win for the entire season.
Yeah.
So some of the teams they haven't been able to beat so far, they're going to have to be able to turn the tables on those teams to try and make the top 4.
Sean Taylor's fallen over. Possession arrow. He looks a little sore as he gets up to. He'll be okay. Been a fascinating journey with Deshaun Taylor this year in the NBL. Started with Adelaide. That didn't last too long. And he was in the right place, right time.
Hey, it's 15. It's 15. Ready?
And clearly a good player to have around the group. Oftentimes when an import's brought in as a replacement or a guy to come off the bench, it's a lot of it, as much of it's about fit as it is talent. So with a team like the Sydney Kings, clearly he's done a great job of fitting into the group. That's just an uncharacteristic. God, that's a rookie mistake. Cross-court violation without any ball pressure at all. Wow.
For what was such a promising start, it's evaporating really quickly.
And you just feel that the Sydney Kings are the team that's got another gear, not the Brisbane Bullets right now. Brisbane are finding it incredibly difficult to score. 26 points in nearly half of basketball.
Well, we saw last time they played here, 25 points they were held to in the last half. So Sydney Kings are certainly capable of turning up the defence.
So what were we at the start of the timeout? So only 9 seconds have come off since that point. 6:58. It should be 6:58. Is that what happens?
Take it down.
Just have a look at the clock, see what it was at the timeout. Is that what it should be? Yeah.
So the thought here is that we've lost the best part of about 20 seconds.
We had the timeout at 7:28.
I think we've actually gained it.
Sorry, I should say, yeah.
So 6 minutes 58. So sounds fair to me. Let's get on with it.
Exactly 30 seconds. I'll just take it.
No one really knows what's going on here. The score bench does. The coaches, the referees all look a little bit bamboozled. Let's just get on with the game.
Confusion reigns by the looks of it. So as the officials start to try and sort that one out. What can Andre Lamanis do? Where are they falling down so badly?
For the year or now?
Right now. I think the years are, we haven't got long enough for the year.
Well, I think if we go back to the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game when it was opened up, let the players with ability shoot the ball, free them up. If you're half open for a look from the 3-point line, it's been proven you're not going to get many inside. Although with the lineup that the Kings have got on now, with Daniel Kickett in the 5, now might be the time to attack inside if there is one. When Andrew Bogut comes back in the game, you're going to have to attack from the 3-point line a little bit more.
I think the biggest thing for Andre Lamanis, he hasn't ever found a core group that fit together, to feel established and feel like they've got some sort of momentum. So Jason Kadee was carrying him for a month. Tonight he hasn't even scored. He's hardly played. So all of a sudden he goes from the starter. Now he doesn't know where he's at. Glidden, who's hardly played at all year, is back to starting. I believe he should have been there from the start. The Americans who were starting and playing massive minutes now are hardly playing. So we're a long way into the season and he hasn't been able to establish anyone's role where they feel comfortable. I don't think if you spoke to any player there that anyone would be comfortable with their season at all.
Yeah. Well, you look at Taylor Braun, who was starting and playing 30-odd minutes a game a couple of weeks ago. He's played 2.5 minutes tonight. Jason Kadee's played only 4 minutes. Matty Hodgson's in foul trouble and played 3, but I agree with you. There's not a lot of consistency in the group at the moment.
And then you've got a Sydney team who, we spoke about this off the top today, have had the same starting lineup for every single game this season.
And I think the reason for that is that they actually recruited players to play a role within a team. The Sydney Kings have really done that piece by piece. It's so balanced. Everybody understands what their role is. They're deep. And you would imagine that all of those guys are enjoying the way it's going, whereas it's the complete opposite. Everyone would be asking questions within the Brisbane Bullets. It doesn't matter what Andre Lamanis says in a press conference. None of those guys could be happy.
Ready, guys? 14. Here we go. And 1.
There's a lot more analysis you could do on this season for the Bullets. Now, after all of that, we're back in the action, and Sean Tate has thrown it 6 rows deep.
Even if Kicken had hops, he wasn't getting that.
That's missed by a long way.
I like it though, my bad. Yep, it was.
(38-26). Midway through the second period. Sydney again are on a little bit of a mini run. They've scored the last 5 points. Sobey can't make that rebound go down. Taylor Braun wide open. He's shooting the 3 ball at 33% this year.
Yeah, and he's got to shoot it when he's open. If you're only going to play a few minutes in a game and try to earn your way back into the rotation, knock down those threes and get the scoreboard ticking over. That's what the Bullets need right now.
Sean Bruce back in. Cross-court pass that Sean Tate made work and then muscled his way inside. Bullets with a chance for back-to-back buckets here. Drag it back out to Sobey with 10 to work with on the shot clock. He has a little floater. It's no good.
And even with Andrew Bogut out, you see the strategy. The Sydney Kings are very, very happy for guards to drive into the middle of the paint, get to 6 or 7 feet out and shoot floaters. The percentages are going to work with the Kings. So even with Bogut out, Daniel Kickett's a veteran. He knows the position to play on the floor, and 2 contested shots in the paint for the Bullets couldn't come up with anything.
Created the turnover. A chance to make some inroads into this deficit. Glidden is fouled by Sean Bruce. They certainly look like they're trying to get Cam Glidden more involved tonight.
As they should. He's a boomer. He's been one of the best guards in the league for a number of years now. Here's what we spoke about with Daniel Kickett, just hands up in the middle of the paint, contested shots, and Brisbane got away with one. They come up with the offensive board, and Taylor Braun knocks down the 3, and it was a much-needed one for the Bullets.
Jason Kadee back in on very limited minutes this evening. He likes the look of this one. He's deep. Kick it uncontested for the rebound.
Now, we mentioned Xavier Cooks earlier, and we've spoken about Sydney's talent. Sean Bruce, he's another guy that anyone in the league could have picked up. He's playing over 20 minutes a game for the Sydney Kings in a backup point guard role and having an exceptional year. If Dane Pinot doesn't win the most improved player, surely it's got to be Sean Bruce.
Certainly in that conversation. Glidden for 3.
Sunday Deck.
Well, he had a fantastic game last night. I'm not sure he's been consistent enough for me over the course of the season, but sure, he's in the conversation. Sean Bruce becoming the glue of the team and holding it together, making sure that the right guys are getting the right shots and defending like crazy.
That's more of what we've come to know from Cameron Glidden, who's got 9 points on 3 of 3 from outside the arc.
And that's what happens when you're starting. You know, I mean, he played for our national team. So you can't be the 10th man coming onto the court for the club team when you're on the national team. So great to see him get a bit of confidence up.
This is how you can get involved.
One possession of
Facebook,
one. Next time
Instagram,
make
Twitter.
Her a dead ball. Make her a dead ball.
Let us know your thoughts on today's game.
At the back, you guys are on the wing. If it works, we'll do it again. Otherwise, we're right back to man. Okay? Offensively. Slow those reversals. Come back down this way out of, if it's zone, I want to be in rub short, all right? Casper, I want you to handle. If it's man, I want to be in pistol flip. Brad, you start on this side of the floor. We'll get it to Brad, get him downhill to your right hand. Yep. Yep.
Get in the rub short, I'm going to pass it to my left first. Pass it back, and then the right side.
This way, right?
Let's go, 1, 2, 3.
I really like that. Very, very specific by Will Weaver. Coming out of the timeout, he's going to change up his defenses. You know, Brisbane have called the timeout. They'd come out with a play, so Sydney are going to come out into a zone. If it works, they'll stay in it. As soon as Brisbane find a way to score against the zone, they'll be back to man-to-man. But they've got their plans for man and zone to attack Brisbane right now.
Scored the last point, 6 points, the Bullets. Trail by as much as 9. Bewley back out there, driving hard. This deep from Singler forces the miss, and he looks to get busy up the other end. Magnay's foul, but Cook's on the way through. It's his first foul in today's game.
It's going to take Cooks a little bit of time. He's been out for a long time. We've spoken about him being an incredible talent, great kid, huge future, but week by week, by the time the finals come, watch out.
We saw him knock down that three earlier. That's another string to the bow that we haven't seen much of. Ware picks up a foul.
He's just got great size for that 3-4 position. He can pick and pop, he can rebound, he can defend. He's played internationally as well, and having played in Europe brings a lot of experience, considering he's still so young, to the NBL on this team.
And he's quick. Yeah, that's the other thing. There's one thing to have good size. There's another thing to be quick when you've got it, and he's got both.
No Craig Moller in the Sydney lineup at the moment. No Kevin Lish today either. Newley under duress, misses. Big rebound by Magnay. Chance for the Bullets to push the ball. Singler got his man up in the air, works together with Taylor Braun, who gets it to go down.
It's a good little run from the Brisbane Bullets. 3:51 before the half. Getting that lead back to 4 points and getting a little bit of enthusiasm from the crowd as well.
And a great job, Jason Cadee, kicking the ball down the floor. Sydney Kings, we've mentioned, they're great defensively. You can't be great defensively if you're not set. So the Brisbane Bullets did a great job of continuing to attack, not letting the Sydney Kings reset, establish their defense, scored that thing early and got to the free throw line for another one.
Yet to miss a free throw this season, Taylor Braun. And I've got him.
That was always going to happen.
You are good. You are good.
Sorry, Taylor. I had that in big, bold writing coming into this game. Stats not missing from Ware.
That is
tough.
So
sure is.
Quick off that little pin down, catch and shoot, momentum, money.
It's just such a luxury to have a player who can create something from nothing, and you expect it to go down. Most teams in the league have that. As Will Magnay lines up and knocks down another three.
How's the smile on
yes,
Chris
big fella.
face right now as the big man knocks down another one from deep.
We love it. That is just development.
Bruce from the corner. Bullets with the long rebound.
Get Will Magnay another trail three. He's going to be open. Here he is. Knock it down. Oh,
it was there. Taylor Braun driving. Little piece on it from Tate. It's a Bullets ball from the baseline.
Can we get a message to Will Magnay? If you're open, big fella, shoot it. That's one place Andrew Bogut is not going to chase you.
Well, but it hasn't looked like he's hesitated one little bit, considering.
And his technique's great. There's nothing wrong fundamentally with what he does.
I think he's doing everything right in his pathway to international basketball.
Absolutely. Hey, while we've been talking, the Bullets have pegged this back to a 4-point game with the ball.
Yeah.
And they've got the Kings in a little bit of foul trouble, so they'll be shooting free throws after this one anytime they get fouled for the next 3 minutes.
They got themselves to an 8-0 run at one point, Brisbane. Bit of foul trouble for Sean Bruce, that's his third. Xavier Cooks has got a couple. Two of Brisbane's prime movers with 3 fouls each has been a big concern for Andre Lamanis. But they're doing okay without Patterson and Hodgson out there.
What's going on here?
So 2:56 to play.
No problem.
Another foul called on Sydney. You're right, Chris, they're causing them some problems.
Yeah, a little bit of movement. A young Jordan Hunter in the middle, and no Daniel Kick and no Andrew Bogut, so look to attack him a little bit, make him defend. Put a spotlight on the big fella and see what he's up to.
That's Hunter's first, and Magnay will be on the line. His minutes have just gradually gone up over the course of the year. He's up to 18 minutes a game, and they'll be extended today because of Hodgson's foul trouble.
And so they should be, the minutes. I think just on his organic growth as the season's gone on, he's earned
One more shot.
Oh, I'd like to see that again.
One shot
is a lane violation. One shot.
So the call was against Hunter. Magnay will get a second opportunity. And misses again. This time Hunter rebounding clean. Here's Ware dancing around, and the pass to Sean Tate was a bullet.
And that is how you use your body again, to be able to create space. He bumped the defense without getting an offensive foul.
Magnay for a third time.
There he goes.
Splash.
I'm invested. I like it. Love it. Will
big
Magnay,
fella.
hey, 0 of 10 from 3 coming into tonight. 3 of 3 tonight.
Well, he needs to take his free throws from there.
Brisbane have got it back to 3, the difference.
Go again.
For a fourth time. Hits the front of the rim.
Don't stop.
And look good too.
Did.
Yeah.
The fact that he wanted to shoot it looked good, didn't it?
The crowd are loving what they're seeing from him. Lazada hassled out of it by Magnay. He's getting it done at both ends of the floor today. Tarangi on the wraparound. Magnay's bowled over, this time by Sean Tate.
And that's just experience, but that's where he has to read that the dribble handoff wasn't open. He could have kept that alive. He would have had a one-on-one move with the big fella with plenty of space to be able to operate.
Minus, boys, minus.
There's the foul. Career high of 13 points, Will Magnay. He's got the Phoenix earlier this
He's
year.
going by that.
He's got 11 with 1:46 to play, and he's on the line now.
One of the best pieces of advice I got in my basketball career early days from a coach named Don Nelson. As a big player, sometimes you find yourself away from the ball. He said, go and put yourself in plays. If you haven't touched the ball, either shoot it or go and find a handoff or an on-ball. And that's exactly what Will Magnay is doing. He's not shying away from this game. He's either knocking it down or, just like we saw then, he's involving himself in the play and he's making things happen. So for a young player trying to impose himself on the league, he's not taking any backward steps tonight, and he looks fantastic this half so far. Mind you, he's doing a lot of it without Andrew Bogut on the court, so let's see how it looks when Bogues comes back in the second half.
Played a lot of rugby as a junior. He's made the right call to stick with basketball.
Well, his brother is a pro rugby player. Played overseas.
1 point separates these two. It's been a fantastic fight back by the Bullets. As Lazada throws it away, here's the chance to take the lead. Braun to single, they collaborate again. Bullets in front.
Well, we didn't pick that 4 or 5 minutes ago that the Brisbane Bullets would lead before half-time. Their ball movement's been great. They've been knocking down shots. Sydney are the team in a scoring drought right now.
And in this situation, they normally get the ball in the hands of Ware. It's Newley who takes it upon himself. Tarangi with the rebound, but the fast hands by Tate gets the ball back.
That hurts. Get the lead, come up with a good defensive possession and rebound and give it straight back.
Lazada yet to score in the game. Newley himself yet to score. 7 on the shot clock. Lazada heads baseline. He's to find an avenue. Jordan Hunter hard. Will Magnay is called for a foul. And it looked like a lot of ball.
It looked clean from this angle, that's for sure. Where's Andrew Bogut? Where's Andrew Bogut?
Is he hurt?
Well, he must be. He's got no foul trouble.
Let's have a look at the replay right here at this block. That is as clean a block as I've seen
It's all ball.
in a long time. And that's the exact sort of play that we should be showing around the world. We've got a 19-year-old super talented kid having a breakout game. He's gone up and met that at the front of the rim, sent it back. Reward that. That's a great defensive possession.
Instead, Hunter on the line. He goes 2 from 2. The Kings get the lead back. Kadee early in the offense.
Bang.
No one came at him.
I love it when Jason Caddy's in that frame of mind.
Yep.
As you said, called it well. You stand behind the three-point line, I'm going to dribble it up and give you 3 of the best.
He's shooting the ball well this year as an unsportsmanlike has been called. Caddy's gone down.
Just wait for the players to clear. Watch these guys. Yep.
Let's have a look at the incident.
You don't want to review it? Sure.
How's that unsportsmanlike?
I feel like
That's a foul.
That's a foul. He was moving, but he didn't lift an elbow. He didn't move into him. I don't feel like he intended to injure him.
No.
And you know what? If anything, the one thing we get taught as bigs, make sure you talk up screens.
Yeah.
So you're looking at whoever's guarding Jordan and say, hey, speak up a little bit. Let him know the screen's coming. And that'd be Will
That's a
Magnay.
terrible call. There is no doubt that that's a foul. 100%. But unsportsmanlike? No.
Called us sportsmanlike. Come on now, man. That's a good hit.
It is a good hit. The referee was spot on, but it was legal.
Of course. Well, no, it was illegal, but it wasn't unsportsmanlike.
Correct.
Again,
Yes.
If Jason Caddy had been spoken to by his teammate that was letting him know there was a screen coming, he would have been able to avoid that as well. But it's not illegal to put a hard screen on somebody.
As Jordan Hunter sits down with 2 fouls of his own. Here's one more look. Yes. The Bullets a chance to extend the lead. Caddy, tough 3, got himself up in the air.
There's an old basketball player I used to play with named Cam Rigby who used to say that basketball's not a non-contact sport, it's a strategic contact sport. That's strategic contact. You get caught out, but that's the sort, surely, Hammer, that you want to see in the game. You want to see a physical contest.
Want good screens. That was an illegal screen, no doubt about it. But we certainly shouldn't be trying to take any sort of contact out of the game. I like that saying. I haven't heard that saying.
You haven't? Yeah, good, smart man, Cam Rigby.
Jot that one down. The Kings have got a chance to tie it up. Where? Well short.
This will hurt.
Got it up again. The Bullets take a lead into half-time. It was Sydney who led by 8 after quarter time, and a lot changed for the Brisbane Bullets. A lot more freedom, Chris Anstey, that you spoke about, that you wanted them to play in that manner, and they take a lead into the main break.
And we didn't see it coming 15 minutes in the second half.
Brisbane choosing to start without Matt Hodgson in this second half. He's still got 3 fouls to his name, as does Lamar Patterson. So Taylor Braun and EJ Singler out there to kick things off for the second half. It's Brisbane leading by 3. Caddy working together with Magnay. Nice play for the Bullets.
And that's Andre Lamanis' strength, that execution out of timeouts, out of half times. Perfectly executed play, shot on the front of the rim. Great start to the half for the Bullets.
Really good read from Jason Caddy. And I like it when he's in the lineup, starting games, starting halves as well. Very, very smart pick and roll offensive player. We know he can score it. We know he can get himself to the line, but he's also great at being able to create that overlap, create for his teammates.
Magnay 2 from 5 from the free throw line today. It's the only blemish on what's been a really big game for him. He's in the low block defending Bogut. 7 on the shot clock. Bogut backs all the way in, and Magnay held his own.
That's a great win for the young fella to be able to contest. You know, Bogut make it or miss it, didn't foul. Came up with the ball. Here we go again, getting on the rim.
Singlet heads straight back out. Braun settles for the 2.
That possession there is why Andrew Bogut was the most valuable player of the league last year. EJ Singler got scared when he got into the paint. Taylor Braun didn't want to go anywhere near it and settled for the second shot between the paint and the three-point line for the game, Hammer.
Ware got himself in harm's way, but was fouled. 2 free throws to come. So good last week, 5 of 10 from outside the arc against Melbourne. Finished the game with 28 points. And even still, they've played each other 3 times, Melbourne and Sydney, and Casper's still coming out like he's got a point to prove against his old team.
He's a pro. I mean, he does week in, week out. And it's not always just about the points. He's such a great defender, good leader, and he's never in a hurry to go and contribute at the offensive end.
Bullets maintain their lead to start the third period. Kadee, tough three that rattles in and out. Ware with the rebound and straight to the basket again. Feeds off to Bogut, now newly in the corner. Nice ball movement from the Kings. Jay-Sean Tate with the offensive rebound. Has Lazada, who's still yet to register a score in this game.
Attack. Got to go after Andrew Bogut right here for Cam Glidden.
Glidden crosses the big man over, then behind the back. Deep two.
Perfect. Probably wasn't the one on the rim he wanted, but he went after him, made him accountable defensively and knocked down a tough bucket.
And again, great for his confidence as well. First bucket he's hit from inside the three-point line. Not normally his go off the dribble either.
He's got 11 points. He's averaging 6 for the season. He's enjoying the opportunity today. Bogut comes up short. Brisbane starting to build some momentum once more. And it's Magnay underneath, fumbled the pass, didn't matter, the big man elevates.
Great start to this third quarter by the Brisbane Bullets. They weren't able to do it last time these two teams played, but Will Magnay's had a couple on the front of the rim. Cam Glidden's been aggressive. Great start.
Just no weak side help whatsoever on that pick and roll defense. That time Bogut came out of the hole, opened up the backside of that defense, and there was no one on the string.
It's a leading scorer in the game, Will Magnay. Or equal leading scorer, I should say, with Ware, who has 17 as well.
Defensively, Hammer, that's part of it, though, when you do have Andrew Bogut dropping down and helping on on-ball screens. And oftentimes you don't need to get into rotation. That's one of the beauties of the way that the Sydney Kings defend. So the rare occasion that he does have to rotate and help on dribble penetration, you're right, the weak side's got to be really active and go and help him out because they're not used to doing it.
I've seen him the last couple of times come out a little bit further than what we've traditionally seen him do so far this season. Massive block.
Sure, did he dented the floor?
Ouch. That's big from Tate. And there's been called for an offensive foul, moving screen. Officials have been hot on that, rightly or wrongly today. This was a highlight from Jay-Sean Tate, which we'll see in a moment. Just the 1 point in this third period, Sydney, I should say. Magnay puts the ball on the floor and lays it up with a left hand.
I love that because he drew Andrew Bogut away from the rim because he'd knocked down his 3 threes. Without him having the confidence to shoot those last threes, he wouldn't have gotten that. So now Andrew Bogut's being drawn out of the paint. Will Magnay's having the absolute game of his career right now.
And the lead is 10, which is Brisbane's biggest of the game. Lazada missing again. He's none from 6.
And Will Magnay, the rebound, he's growing up in front of our eyes tonight.
Matt Hodgson's still on the bench because Magnay getting the job done all on his own. This hustle from Singler. Magnay again driving and drawing a foul on Bogut.
And that was exactly what Chris is talking about. Magnay in a position to be able to let that three-point shot rip. He's 3 from 4 from the land of plenty tonight. That time realised that Bogut was closing out hard. One dribble to the paint and drew the foul. Great play from the young fella.
This is a huge performance. The young man, Brisbane native. And Bogut sits down.
Well, you said his career high before tonight was 13.
Yeah.
He's got 20 points, possibly about to be 21 and 8 rebounds. 21 and 8, and we've still got 16 minutes of basketball to go.
And he's forced Bogut to the bench to go with it.
Hey, keep him out there, coach. Don't put him on the bench until he absolutely needs to. Let's see what he can do.
He's guarding Jay-Sean Tate, and he's blocking Jay-Sean Tate.
Wow. He is having some sort of a game. Give it to him.
He's trying to get open. Braun gets busy. Everything going Brisbane's way in this third period.
And whilst the Bullets have shot the ball well from the three-point line, I've loved the fact they've mixed it up and being able to attack off the dribble as well. How many layups they've been able to get now? 10 from the threes, 11 from inside the paint.
The word you said is attack. They have been in attack mode since half-time. We haven't seen this from a Brisbane Bullets team the last month, 6 weeks. The other two teams in the race for the Final Four both dropped serve this weekend. Last night, 2 upsets. Brisbane could steal one here and be right back in the race if they continue playing like this.
Lost 6 of their last 8 games coming in. This was what happened last time they played, so you could argue some symmetry. They had 60 on the board at halftime and led by 13, and the Kings dominated. But this time around, it's Brisbane who are taking the third quarter and owning it.
They certainly have, and they've come with that mindset that we've spoken about. It's been an aggressive mindset. Andre Lamar has changed up his starting 5, put 3 players from the bench to start in the second half, including Jason Kadee, and that's when I think they play the best. When they've got Kadee in that lineup, he controls the tempo, we know he can hit from the perimeter, and he can distribute as well.
1 point in this third period, Sydney. Remarkable how cold they've become, and that was really starting to happen with about 4 minutes to go in the second period.
Yeah, and you look at the lineup that the Brisbane Bullets have come out with here. Every single one of those 5 guys tonight has shown the ability and willingness to shoot the 3. 5 scoring threats on the floor from every position on the floor. Makes it tough to guard, but more importantly, they've been great defensively. To hold the Sydney Kings to 1 point in 4.5 minutes of basketball is exceptional, and that should be a cross-court violation.
And it is. We're arguing the point. Great pick-up, Chris.
But uncharacteristic by Casper Ware, and it's amazing the momentum in a game of basketball that a little bit of applied pressure can force errors like that from someone as great as Casper Ware.
How many minutes in a game do you think that the best 5 players for the Sydney Kings play together?
Not enough.
But
at the moment, not tonight.
What do you think that is?
10 or 12 at most, I think.
That would be the sort of number that we're talking about. Their best 5 players play together.
And that's a luxury they've got, of course, and I'm sure as it gets towards the pointy end of the season, that'll probably narrow down, and Will Weaver will lock into his rotation of 7 or 8 players. But I've heard you mention before that it's a 40-minute game of basketball these days. It's not out of the realms of possibility when we're talking load management. Any player should be able to play 35+ minutes on any given night.
I think the hardest thing is, as a key player, if you can't get rhythm and pick and choose when you get an opportunity to be able to do your thing, it makes it tough.
Where with 2 more. There's our WhatsApp question. Is this the best Sydney Kings team ever? 64% of you are saying no. Magnay trying to get Singler involved. It was a good pass and Singler couldn't finish. No fluency with this Sydney offense in the third period, except for this man who's doing it all on his own.
That's far too easy. 2 straight line drives in a row to Casper Ware, 2 almost uncontested layups. Exactly what the Kings needed just to get a little bit of rhythm back. Where Brisbane needs somebody to stand up. You mentioned Perth. They've got a guy like Damian Martin. Old school, we had guys like Darren Lucas who had just locked down a defender. Regardless of what your defensive strategy was, keep your man in front of you. They haven't proven the ability to do that, and Casper Ware is a hard matchup.
Nathan Sobey. Lamar Patterson back in. Quiet game by Patterson's lofty standards. Just 8 points to his name. But he's guarded by Bruce on this occasion. Gave the fend off and has been called for the charge.
So another guy with 4 fouls sitting on the bench. Straight into the game and straight out of the game.
Sean Bruce is good at that too.
Sure is.
Really moved his feet to get that position. Almost coaxed him into getting that offensive foul.
Patterson will stay out there, you'd say, for this possession.
Sydney have gone really small right here.
Sean Taylor from deep is deep. Good hustle, and Braun came up with it. Kept it alive, and now Sobey all the way to the basket. Blocked by Xavier Cooks. Great defense on the trail. Ware got away from Patterson. Magnay called for the foul.
And great take from Casper. But that possession before was exactly what I was talking about, where they need to go back to Ware. He was calling for the ball. He wanted the top, but Sean Bruce flattened him out, got a little step-up pick, and they got an open 3 from Taylor. So that feeds back into exactly what Brisbane want. They want Taylor to shoot the ball and to keep it out of this man's hands.
And I'll tell you what, very, very lucky that Lamar Patterson didn't pick up his 5th foul. A little bit of a reach across Casper Ware as he drove. High IQ basketball play, saw the guy with 4 fouls guarding him on the perimeter, went into attack mode, got himself to the rim. Again, Brisbane have to keep Casper Ware in front of him. He's got 21 and an uncharacteristic miss, so likely 22 after this one to make himself the game's leading scorer.
He's led Sydney in their last 5 games for scoring. He never did that at Melbourne. He's taken the responsibility. He's going to come out.
See, that's my point. Why is he coming out now?
It's an interesting sub. It's probably why you and I don't coach in the league anymore.
That's true. That's true.
Sort of know where to go.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't like. He's the only one that really is making things happen at the offensive end.
And good on you, young fella. Ruben Tarangi again. Well, probably not so young, but playing his 200th game, limited opportunity, step up and knock down a 3.
103 of them have been at New Zealand, 96 at Brisbane, Ruben Tarangi.
So we're talking about the fact that Sydney Kings are struggling to score in this quarter. Casper Ware's got 22. The next highest scorer has got 4. 9 for kick it now.
And Tate's got 11. But outside of that, not a lot. Sobey almost...
Tate's not on there either.
No, that's right, yeah. Sobey almost lost the handle. He's got it back now and they can settle in. He can go to work.
And Nathan Sobey's been uncharacteristically quite 1 of 9 from the field for the 2 points, just 3 assists and a couple of turnovers.
Taylor thought about driving on Hodgson. He's lost the handle and it's out of play. Hodgson himself needing to be really careful with 3 fouls. Deshaun Taylor sits down. Patterson staying out there with 4.
Well, they need to get Brad Dooley into dribble handoffs now,
they do.
So he can be aggressive at him.
And you know what? They need to see how many minutes they can get out of Lamar Patterson, because they might as well have him out there. There's no point giving up this lead by sitting him on the bench. So I think it's a good thing that he's staying out there. If they can extend this lead or hold it for as long as they can and he fouls out, so be it. Deal with the problem then. But for now, try to keep this lead, which has crept in over 10 points again.
Andrew Bogut's got to be injured, right?
You'd think so. Although Daniel Kickett's, well, let's say he's shooting the ball fantastically well tonight, but you'd imagine Bogut has to be injured.
Patterson travels. Would they be saving him for down the stretch?
Well,
are you saying that he's not capable of being able to play the minutes, 25, 30 minutes once a week?
I'm saying they're conserving him.
No, but I'm saying I'm saying he either has to be injured or I cannot believe that he's not playing his 25 minutes a game.
There has been some discussion that he's been a bit sore in the last couple of weeks, and maybe that has something to do with it.
And I suppose the luxury for the Sydney Kings right now is Sean Bruce misses another 3, and probably one Brisbane will be happy with him shooting, is that they are 12-3 and they can probably afford, they can afford out of any team in the league to drop one. So if they are going to manage some players' minutes, they might as well do it when they can't fall from top spot, I suppose, would be what Will Weaver's looking at.
Here's the foul called on Sean Bruce, which puts him into some significant foul trouble now with his 3rd.
The thing about this league is it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you don't bring your best, you are going to lose. Yeah. We saw that last night with the Adelaide 36ers. They had everything to play for. They were well and truly beaten by a team that just had more desire to be able to get it done. And the mindset from the Brisbane Bullets tonight has been similar. They have come out and they have thrown a haymaker at the Sydney Kings so far.
It's interesting when Ruben Tarangi said in the pre-game interview, we need to play hard. Shouldn't that be expected every single night as a professional athlete when you're only playing 28 games a year? I mean, I get it, they've played hard, but isn't that a given?
Well, it should be.
Certainly played hard this afternoon. Newley misses from deep as well.
And Sydney are taking the shots that Brisbane want them to take again right now. With Casper Ware sitting on the bench, they can't find an avenue to the basket. Sorry, my mistake. He's come back on the floor.
But again, with him coming back on the floor, they need to throw the ball into his hands.
Right.
Get him off some dribble handoffs, some on balls. Let him create. Let him go to work. They're in the bonus, so he can get himself to the line. He's already taken 11 free throws so far in this game, shooting at 82%. And if you want to be able to get a little bit closer before three-quarter time, he's your man.
Hit Nathan Sobey, but a foul called offensively. There's a reason it all opened up for Sobey because Hodgson's been called for a foul.
They've been red hot on moving screens, haven't they? Not just tonight, but over the course of the last few weeks. You want to make sure you're stationary. Rightio. So a hold off the ball is what they've called, keeping Andrew Bogut off the boards and keeping him away from blocking Sobey's shot.
Hodgson comes out, Magnay back in. Ware for three. It's Magnay with the rebound and Brisbane pushing the ball.
The Kings have made 3 field goals this quarter and 1 from 11 from the three-point line in the third quarter alone.
Absolutely icy. This third period. Magnay again, working hard on Bogut. Sobey came flying in. Good energy from Nathan Sobey. Magnay didn't make that bucket count, but Chris, I'm sure you love that move as well.
I love his aggression. Might have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew on that one. He didn't have Bogut up in the air and he was able to stay with him. But energy by Sobey, this might be what Nathan Sobey needs coming into the fourth quarter, just to see a couple go down from the free throw line. Good energy, great energy on the offensive boards by Sobey, but he's 1 of 10 from the field. He's made both of his free throws. These could just help his confidence going into the fourth and extend Brisbane's lead at the same time.
He's a 96% free throw shooter this season, Nathan Sobey. Third in the competition coming into today. Just 5 points to his name. He goes 2 from 2. Lead is 15. It's the biggest lead in the game for either team. And it comes on the stroke of three-quarter time. Here's Bogut. Just sending a message to Magnay. Got the big man up in the air and the experience helps them for an important 2.
He doesn't look injured to me.
No. Sometimes he just decides to want to score and can do that at will. I'd love to see that aggressive Andrew Bogut offensively a little bit more often.
Sobey is called for the double dribble. Gives Sydney another look at it with just under 8 seconds remaining, and they'll sub Daniel Kick it in to give them some extra beef. Their shooting prowess on the floor.
Well, Kickett's 3 from 4 from the three-point line. The rest of the team is 4 from 25.
Straight back to Casper Ware and attack mode and find Kickett for a 3. Is that what you think, Hammer?
I would have thought so.
Instead, it's Newley all the way.
Sure is.
He's a hard man to stop when he's in that mode.
Well, he is. He's got a donut tonight. Brad Newley 0 from 6, but he's one of the best players in his position in the open court. Certainly at the later years of his age, but still a terrific athlete, great size, so much experience now playing in the European leagues. He's played all around the world now. And just a great piece to the Sydney Kings.
Two-time Olympian. He's also been to 3 World Cups, Brad Newley.
Maybe double dribble first. Do you have the double dribble first?
And that's the first. So it'll be Brisbane who still lead with a quarter to play, but a couple of late baskets from Sydney. They've scored the last 5 points and they've cut the deficit. Sobey from a mile away. The ball is firmly in Brisbane's court now. They've worked hard to get themselves this lead. The challenge for the Brisbane Bullets as they try and stay in touch with 4th position. They've done a lot of things right to get themselves a 69-58 lead with a quarter remaining. And for Sydney, the biggest comeback at three-quarter time this season has been 10 by Cairns. So They'll have to buck the trend, but that'll help as Casper Ware gets up to 24 points.
If he gets in beast mode, do not write the Sydney Kings off right now.
It feels like it rests firmly with him, doesn't it?
Oh, there's no doubt. Rests with him. Have a look at Andrew Bogut having to close out hard now to Will Magnay.
Kadee misses the three. Awkward landing for Taylor Braun, who had his arm clipped on the way through.
And let's see whether they go back to Casper Ware now. 24 points. They need to get him going and play off him.
And we know how great he is in the fourth quarter, and that's going to be my question for the Brisbane Bullets right now. Does Will Magnay have the courage to step up and shoot the threes in the fourth quarter that he's been shooting all game long?
As Lozada scores his first points. He's had a tough night, being 1 of 7 from the field.
He's had some real open ones as well. Looked like he thought about, just jabbed that.
Glidden has 11 points himself in a starter's role again today. Shot clock expiring. Magnay.
Well, he shot it.
The intensity from the Sydney Kings at the defensive end has gone up another notch.
Ware with a floater.
So tough.
Strapping him to his back and says, come with me, boys.
You just see the difference in the tempo of the game now. Sydney are attack, 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 and Brisbane are swinging it around in a series of isolation plays for Cam Glidden and Ruben Trang. He's probably not going to get it done. So good call, good timeout by Andre Lamanis to address it straight away, because a 6-0 run for the Kings to start this fourth quarter is exactly what Coach Will Weaver wanted.
Will Magnay has been the story of the game from a Brisbane perspective. He started tonight. Hodgson got into foul trouble after 3 minutes, and he's made the most of his opportunity.
Well, he certainly has. And when we talk about next stars, and a lot of the times people are focusing on the Americans because the LaMelo Ball could be #1 draft pick. This kid is legitimate, and the more chances that we give to kids rather than going to college to stay here to play in Australia like Will Magnay, is only going to make our league even better again. And what better development pathway than the NBL? We've seen him just grow up in front of our eyes since the start of the season.
Is he good enough to play NBA?
He will be. I think he's on the right track.
Absolutely.
He's got the body, he's got the technique, he's got the mindset, and he just needs to continue to work hard. It sounds like he does work hard, comes from a great family, and athletes as well, and got his feet on the ground, which I love as well.
It's his first double-double in his NBL career. Started with Brisbane as a development player in 2017 and had to work through some issues with glandular fever. He's firing on all cylinders to the rim.
There he goes again. And again, after a timeout by Andre Lamanis, is where the Brisbane Bullets are at their best. A little bit more discipline. Get more shots at the rim, front of the rim like that over the course of this fourth quarter. They're every chance.
And nice defense too. Forced a tough shot from Ware. Here's Patterson trying to get in on the axe.
Oh, that is huge.
Brisbane making their move out of the timeout.
5-0 since Andre Lamanis' timeout. Great hit from Patterson. Great pass of possession before from Patterson to Magnay.
Newley gets a good look at it here. He's off. Kadee with the energy. What a timeout it's been by Andre Lamanis. It's worked for them. It's Magnay is drawing a foul on Xavier Cooks. Brisbane want continuation.
You think this game's important to the Brisbane Bullets?
Oh my.
Do you think they're not riding Will Magnay's career game right now?
Now, I don't blame Jason Kadee for asking the question, but he's kidding himself in there. That was a great take from Magnay, though. Realised it was going to be a hard closeout, put the ball on the floor. No doubt there was a moving foul to be able to create that against Cooks.
Into a player, just don't wrap up. All right, you got 4 fouls now. Here we go.
How momentum in today's sport, not just basketball, but all sport, is so big. You saw the way the Sydney Kings came out. They looked like they were going to go on a run. Timeout happens, and now the Brisbane Bullets come back with a different mindset.
As Kadee lights it up. You can see what it means to him, and you can hear what it means to the Bullets fans. 77-64, and the home team has scored the last 8 points.
And as Hammer said, the Brisbane Bullets are a better team when Jason Caddy's on the floor, because he can do exactly that at any given time and create his own shot.
He has 8 points. Continues to have a fantastic season coming off the bench.
Hey, it hasn't been Nathan Sobey's night tonight. It's going to be really interesting to see what Coach Lamanis does with his point guard rotation down the stretch.
It's Jason Caddy on that last possession. He's not a man that should have that much time.
Sure, there's no doubt about that, but this run has come. Andre Lamanis is going without his 2 boomers. Aren't on the court at all during this period.
Matt Hodgson has 4 fouls and has played the best part of 6 minutes in the game.
What's been his Achilles heel, hasn't it? But you see what Will Magnay is doing with the opportunity of extended minutes.
Can you finish the
So-
last 6.5 or whatever? Appreciate it. Deep breaths, be ready.
Can Jashawn Tate finish? Are we talking an injury here? Casper Ware's come out of the game when they need points on the board.
That's the, I just don't understand that side.
Tate getting ready to come back in. 7 on the shot clock for Patterson. It rattles in and out.
Really good opportunity for the Brisbane Bullets here. No Andrew Bogut, no Casper Ware, 6.5 minutes on the clock. If they can hold on to this 11-point lead or extend it, they've got to be a long way towards getting the win, don't they?
Oh, and a tech from Jason Caddy. He got called on the block out against Kickett, who looked like he flopped. There was no way the contact that Caddy had on Kickett made him move that much.
No.
Caddy upset, giving the ref a little bit of advice and was penalised for it. I know how he feels.
You been there before?
Been there.
No line up for the technical foul shot. No line up for the technical foul shot.
And this is what we're talking about with, have a look at Kickett here.
Oh, no.
That is just, see, that should be a tech on Kickett, because we don't need a flop.
You're right. You certainly shouldn't be rewarded for it in a game like this.
And then even more so,
They
like
get
the
the ball
referee
back.
made an error. He turned it into a mistake by teching Jason Caddy. That's bad.
Is that a moment? Sydney trying to build on that from there. Sean Bruce has got 4 fouls, and he's got his first points of the game. Sydney won't go down. Casper Ware getting set to check back in too. Will Weaver did say to him, a couple of deep breaths, you won't be out for long. So whistle goes. Jay Singler's caught one in the nose.
I've got 10 for elbowing in the head. So you're happy that the ball is still on the dribble?
Off here?
Yeah.
So the foul will be on Xavier Cooks.
Foul on that one?
Yeah, I'm 10 gold because he hit the screener in the face.
We're pushing this one?
Yep.
So you want to check if it's unsportsmanlike, do you?
Yeah, we better. His head
We also
high.
need to see if there's another defense foul on the shot.
Yeah. I don't think there is.
Let's go.
Officials have got a bit to talk about.
There's head contact when
Let's
he's
have a look
trying to go
here.
through and around the screen.
Well, I'm not sure there was any intent in that,
Right.
but now they're looking at the video. That could be
I'll tell you
unsportsmanlike
what,
for
the
the
way
head-high
that it's
contact.
being called,
Yeah, I think it will be.
and especially given the last call we just saw, if this is consistent, that's an unsportsmanlike foul. I'm not saying I agree with the rule,
No,
but
I
for the
agree.
sake of consistency, that could very well be an unsportsmanlike foul.
A couple of fantastic OMG moments tonight. That was one, Sean Tate all the way, but the rest of them belong to Will Magnay. He's been doing it from outside the arc, and he's been getting above the rim as well. What a breakout night for this young man. That was one of his best.
What do you think now?
Yeah, well, it's no back.
The conversation continues. Just confirming the foul is on Xavier Cooks. It's just a question of how it's officiated, whether there's anything more to it.
Well, I think we're all in agreement, aren't we, that that will be called an unsportsmanlike foul, whether you like the rule or not, based on what we've seen.
And it will be called an unsportsmanlike foul.
Singler for 2. Excessive contact.
Before the screen.
The first your arms has gone right.
Was it a moving? Was there a movement on the screen? No.
Consistency behind the goal.
Got it. I saw it wrong. Thank you.
It's excessive contact.
Okay, so the sub will shoot it if he can't.
I don't think there was any malice in what Knox did at all, but at the same time, he needs to be better. That's just a sloppy play of having that head-high contact against the screener.
That's unfortunate.
Particularly knowing how the rules are called.
And Singler is going to get his nose looked at, and smart sub by Lamanis has put Cam Glidden on the line
Cam
as the sub.
Glidden's a 90-odd% career free throw shooter, and if you're going to bring someone in when you've got 2 shots, Cam Glidden's your guy.
But that means Singler can't come back now, right?
Well, not this possession, correct.
I'm not sure that he can come back. I stand to be corrected, but if you're actually going to sub somebody from shooting free throws, I believe that he can't come back into the game.
I may very well be wrong. We'll have to wait and see, because you'd expect him to come back in.
What
If
will
he's
end up
bleeding, it has
happening
to
is
get
people do that regularly.
If it's a blood rule, though, and he can't
Maybe
come
it's
out.
blood rule.
Have you got blood on your elbows?
I think they're going to have a look at Xavier Cooks. With that same elbow, that might belong to EJ Singler, a bit of that blood. Not a lot that needs to go on there. We'll get that patched up pretty quickly.
He can't come back this possession. Now it's cleaned up. He can pull a sub immediately.
Split that line for me, Lamar, please. Yep. Here we go.
EJ Singler's definitely got blood
Well, I reckon
coming from his mouth.
the only way you're going to cut your elbows on a tooth, isn't it?
You'd think so, yeah.
So there's a little bit of blood both ways there.
3 on the shot clock. Patterson in the low block, falling away. No good. Magnay kept it alive, and then so did Glidden.
Great value earning an extra possession. Will Magnay knocked it back out to his shooters.
Bullets lead by 10. 5:43 to play. Sobey off the dribble. The floater. Magnay thought it was for him. Maybe it should have been. Jay Sean Tate throws it away.
That's that top blocking that we were speaking about in the first half. Denying Casper Ware being able to get a catch. That time he faked the back door. You learn at a real easy age, never fake a back door.
Got a real chance here, Brisbane, to extend this lead, to keep it beyond double figures and make it even harder for Sydney, but Patterson missed the layup. He's still playing with 4 fouls next to his name. He's guarding Casper Ware. Bruce with 7 on the shot clock from long. Tarangi with the rebound, Newley with the foul.
Well, he hasn't been shy from the three-point line tonight, Sean Bruce. That's his 6th attempt at it and hasn't made one yet. Great defensive possession again by the Brisbane Bullets, forcing the Sydney Kings into a shot they probably wouldn't have wanted.
And this is the time, and we're playing in an era where you're not running a lot of plays, but this is the time where you'd love them to run a couple of sets to be able to get the ball in their best hands, rather than playing by chance and having to settle for that shot there.
And especially the Brisbane Bullets, because that's what we've discussed. They're best at. They're better off when they run their sets and get the ball into the right guy's hands at the end of the shot clock. And now it's Nathan Sobey looking to get on the board and score his first field goal for the night and can't come up with it.
Magnay with the offensive rebound and the dish to Patterson. Great play from the big man. 4:23 remaining. It's Newley for 3 from deep. Let's get down to Candy. She's got the latest on EJ Singler.
Yeah, it looks like EJ's about to have a trip to the dentist. He's actually cracked a tooth, which was what happened with Xavier Cook's elbow injury. And they've patched him up right now and said he's absolutely fine. He'll be out there for the rest of the game. And it looks like Xavier just got a little boo-boo on his elbow too, and he's pretty cool too, so he'll be back out there as well in a moment.
Thanks, Candy.
Is that a boo-boo?
A boo-boo, yeah.
It's official.
Just a little one.
It's the official medical term.
Yeah, like for a small cut. He's had the boo-boo wrapped up. He's all good.
He's got to control it, though.
I think EJ Singler probably not as good from the sounds of it.
I'm coming in. Where? Sorry.
It's a really important 4 minutes in the context of Brisbane's season right here, because this game's far from done. If there's a team who can string some points together in this league, it's the Sydney Kings. They haven't done it tonight. But again, the teams in and around Brisbane stumbled last night. It's really critical 4 minutes. They can't afford any slip-ups. They can't afford to fall asleep on any possessions. And Casper Ware comes back into the game. We expect him to try to take over offensively, wouldn't we, Hammer?
We would hope so.
He has 26 points. And it stays that way, well short with his 3. Brisbane not yet at that stage where they're fully trying to absorb time off the clock, but they'll want to make the most of this possession. And the officials call this one on Will Magnay.
Well, that, on first look, that looked a bit harsh on Magnay, saying that he hit Casper Ware in the face. Just the height advantage of naturally where his hands were. Just a little dribble handoff and a little switch. And that's just a bad call. That is a bad call. Now, I don't blame Casper Ware for doing it, because he's trying to do whatever he can to get his team an extra possession. But that's just a bad call.
Yeah, there's got to be an onus to stay on your feet as a defender.
Yeah.
Hold your ground and stay on your feet.
Well, because if you reward it, then everybody's going to go and do the same thing and try and flop and get an extra possession.
Nathan Sobey. Patterson, the call was for a travel. He's been called for an offensive foul instead, and his game is done. Fifth foul for Lamar Patterson. And a curveball that's been thrown at Andre
What
Lamanis.
did we say about momentum not more than 10 minutes ago? That's incredible how a game can change so quickly, and the game's just swung again. Brisbane's leading scorer or best scorer over the course of the season's out, and they're going to need to find another way to the basket for the last 3 minutes of this game.
And that was a terrific defensive play from Brad Newley, being able to slide his feet. He read where Patterson was going to go, created the contact himself, and took it right in the middle of the chest for a big possession to the Sydney Kings.
And Ware up the other end is long.
Bullets dodged the bullet on that occasion.
3 minutes remaining for Brisbane. 4-2 at the Armoury this season. They've had a lot more success here than when they've been put on a plane and gone on the road. Singler misses the 2 and got his own ball back. Kadee. Short as well. Jay-Sean Tate's off to the races, and that will be absolutely an offensive foul.
And that defensive play was equally as good from Nathan Sobey. And it was a tough one to be able to do, because Tate had a head of steam being able to take it at the hoop. We know he's a great athlete, but he read him and took it right in the middle of the chest. Huge defensive play from Sobey.
You do not have to have a great game to have a great moment, and Nathan Sobey has just had a great moment defensively when the Kings were getting on a roll. Take the ball out of their hands and earn another possession and burn some more valuable time off the clock for the Bullets. And here he goes again.
Nice pass from Singler too. Sobey on the backdoor cut.
That really was a good pass. You called it well. Fake the dribble handoff, great back door. Easy layup to release some pressure.
It does change things up. Newley has been fouled by Singler.
Goal 0, it's a holding foul.
In fact, apologies, it's not the foul on Singler. The foul's been called on Lazada for a hold.
Who's shooting? 2 shots? No, you're still bleeding. Stay! Sobey. 2 shots, Sobey. Yeah, Sobey. No, 2 shots. Bleeding, we've got to throw him down. Bonus shot.
They're in the bonus.
2 shots.
Sobey will walk to the other end of the floor and have 2 free throws, which should make it very difficult for Sydney now.
Well, you wouldn't mind a 96% free throw shooter on the season walking to the free throw line, would you? With 2 minutes to go to put you up double figures. It's exactly where Brisbane want to be. And you're right, it will be tough for Sydney to come back. And I'm assuming, again, Andrew Bogut, we haven't seen much of him this fourth quarter. He's only around 15 minutes for the game. They've got to be managing his load and either freshening him up or looking after an eagle.
Sydney play again on Monday against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. That's a home game for them at Kudos Bank Arena. There's the big man who looks firmly anchored to the back end of the bench there.
It's just not the same team that turned up in Melbourne a week ago and absolutely blew out Melbourne United, is it?
And we've seen that over the last month. It's a mindset thing for the Sydney Kings, because when they are on song, they just dismantled Melbourne United.
To the ring as well.
And a little bit of credit to Brisbane right here is that
we've been giving credit all
night.
Yeah,
of course, but I think they've encouraged Sydney or allowed Sydney to shoot shots that probably they wouldn't have wanted to as a part of their strategy and game plan. And you've seen guys like Sean Bruce, Brad Newley lighting it up or throwing it up from three. It's probably not where they want it to be all game long.
It's been an interesting last 4 games. You look at Sydney, they beat Melbourne by 23, lost to Cairns at home by 11, lost to Perth in Perth by 19 and beat Melbourne at home by 10. So there's big numbers either way.
There's not many close games in there, are there?
One right down.
Jekyll and Hyde a little bit.
And this one will be another big number for them too, the way it's going.
Ready, guys?
That's what we keep speaking about with the NBL. Is this league is so close that if you don't bring it, you don't come with the right mindset, you don't win.
Kick it posting up on Sobey. Got it over the top of Magnay's outstretched arm as well. He's 4 of 5 from the field. Well inside 2 minutes. One good possession here from Brisbane, and that will take care of it through Nathan Sobey.
Good tempo coming off that screen. Nice aggressive move.
And set up by Jason Kadee. A very simple play, well executed.
It's the value of tempo, isn't it? It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Tate picks up the foul on Magnay.
They're not going away just yet.
And the thing I like about that last play that Jason Kadee set up is he got a great scorer in the corner, not hot tonight, simple step away. They knew that Sobey was coming off to the free throw line. He was going to shoot it. Magnay was always going to the boards for the offensive rebounds. Everyone knew exactly where they're at, and the Bullets knew exactly what they were trying to get from it.
And that's where Andre Lamanis, if he's a guru at anything, it's those exact sort of set plays where you know all 5 guys on the floor exactly what they're doing. And like you said, Hammer, everyone expected Sobey to shoot it. And if he had missed, clean up and go again.
Tate misses the extra.
Well, speaking of Will Magnay and rebounding, that's number 13 for the night. He's never had double-figure rebounds before, so to go along with his 23 points, which is a career high, he's also smashing his career-high rebounds in what looks like it's going to be a win over a very good team. There's one thing about career nights, they're even better when you walk away with a win.
He and Hodgson were set to start tonight together, and they did, but we didn't see a lot of Matt Hodgson. Brisbane get the ball back. Sobey tried to dribble past Newley, no foul called, and then Newley stole it from him.
Well, it looked like there was a fair bit of contact, I would have thought.
It's a hip and shoulder. Kadee came up with the ball and takes care of it. Gets it into the experienced hands of Sobey, and Brisbane can start to celebrate.
They sure can.
Glidden's back out there for the end as well.
Shoot it, big fella.
Have it, Will Magnay. It's been your night. And he couldn't get that one to stick in the end. And Kadee, with the hustle, Tate comes after it. Loose ball, and it'll be possession arrow.
I tell you one thing, in this day and age, if the ball's on the ground, someone's got it, just dive on them, because they'll call a jump ball. You don't even have to have a piece of the ball and they call it a jump ball.
Fans are on their feet, and with good reason too. It's been a real up and down season for Brisbane, but if you're a Bullets fan and you're looking at the fixture, they're 5-2 at home now for the season. One thing you know is if you go and watch them in their gym, they're a fair chance to win.
Yeah, well, they were fantastic tonight. You've got to ask the question, Where has this been, though, for the season? This is their second quality win they've had for the season. They beat Perth on this court as well.
Sobey, the lob for Magnay. Couldn't work in the end. And Brisbane rejoice.
And they keep their season alive. We didn't see this coming before the game. Not many people expected Sydney to get beaten by the Bullets, who've been struggling. But in the context of a season, congratulations, Andre Lamanis. Congratulations, Brisbane Bullets. Massive win.
An early Christmas present for the Brisbane Bullets coach and all of their fans. They win 87-80.